All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your gentle yoga practice. I'm Erin, and so it's Mother's Day weekend. It's also, yesterday was my birthday, so I was just going to share my birthday with Mother's Day, this overlap. And it's funny because like my whole life has changed since becoming a mother, which I'm sure is maybe a common experience. And it's funny, I think back, I remember vividly this one time in one of my classes before I became a mother, when I was teaching a class on self-care and kind of like what self-care entailed. And before becoming a mom, my self-care practice was now that I look back on it, pretty elaborate. Like I would go get massaged and I would do yoga all of the time, and kind of like every day there was something that I was devoting my time to really take care of myself. And I remember this mom being like, yeah, but like, what can you do if you're a mom? I'm like, oh, well, you can do all those things, right? And now that I'm a mother, like my answer would be like, take a shower. Like it goes from having all of this time and freedom to do whatever you want to like maybe it's just that and it's not just if you're a mom, it's that there are certain times in life when whatever's happening for us physically, mentally, or emotionally, like sometimes it's just that, like get out of bed and take a shower, or maybe it's like stay in bed for a day if that's what you need. So self-care can really look like this huge spectrum, and I think it's just about kind of carving out that little bit of time for ourselves. And the other thing that I was thinking about, it's like kind of a tangent, but I'm going to try to bring it all together, is that like how quickly time can pass. Like how many years has it been, Melissa, since I saw you, right? Like we've just started coming back to practice together. For some of us, it's been a really long time since doing that. And so for my birthday this year, we did the same thing that we did last year. We took the kids to the aquarium, which is like an hour-and-a-half drive for us, and getting 2 kids out of the house, and it's a thing. And very much in my life feels the same as it did last year. And I can't believe a year has passed in some ways. But there were things that I was like, okay, we got better at this year. Like we got out of the house a little bit easier with 2 kids, and we didn't have a huge fight to navigating how to get down to Philadelphia. So it was like these small things that felt like really big successes. And that's like the thing about life, right? Is that as we come through this loop of time, where we have like another solar return, another birthday, or another Mother's Day, the wheel of time is just shifting. The one thing that's always true in life is that there's always change. Things are always moving, always shifting. And when we come to our yoga mat, it's like we do these same poses again and again, but there is no mastery. And that's one of the things that out of anything in my life that has taught me that, it's yoga and motherhood. Like I was just telling my mom that as someone who's a self-identified perfectionist, motherhood is challenging, because even when I'm really successful at it, it still feels like I'm like at 80% and there's still this 20% of failure happening because you just can't do everything all the time in life. And so how can we just really be with this shift, be with this change, and allow things to be as they are? Sometimes if you've done downward facing dog maybe 1,000 times, if you've been practicing yoga for a significant length of time, or maybe you've just done it a few times, but it's always different. Your body's always different. There is no mastery of the pose. There is no mastery of our life experience. We can only do our very best show up to what our life is in the moment and say, like, what is the next best step? Like, what can I do right now with this body that I'm in, with this time that I have, with whatever your self-care practice looks like. So we're going to kind of touch on all those themes today. So take a nice comfortable seat and sit up very tall. And just take a moment to welcome yourself to the body that you're in today. And maybe you take a minute to notice if there's any chronic pain, or maybe a specific, more acute injury, or maybe there's just, quality of being rested, having a good night's sleep or not. Just noticing exactly how you feel in this moment, because it's different than when you sat on your mat yesterday or last week or last month or last year, and it will be different again tomorrow. And so how can you welcome that? Welcome the imperfection, the perfect imperfection in what you find, and allow this space and time that you come to your mat to be this act of self-care for yourself. In this way, we can honor where we've been, who we used to be, where we are, how we identify in this moment, where we're going, and who we're becoming in this cycle of time, while also being firmly rooted in the present and creating a container and a space for us to care for that person. So see if here you could root down a little bit more into your hips, letting your hips and your legs get heavy. And then see if you could also take a breath in and lengthen your spine, lengthen up out of your waist, letting the side bodies get longer, taking your shoulders up, back, and down. And then take a fuller breath in and a more complete breath out. Allowing this practice of conscious breathing to nourish you. So whether or not we're parents, or if we ever want to be, or decided never to become, we all have the quality of a mother, of a caregiver. We all take care of our own bodies, of ourselves, of our friends, our chosen families, of the earth, of our pets. So take this time to mother yourself. Place one hand over your heart center, and then your other hand on top of that. Feel your breath fill up the space underneath your hands. And just let that be an act of self-care, self-love, nurturing. I invite you to cultivate an intention for your practice today. It could be just to give back to yourself for this next hour together. Or maybe it's to let your practice be a gift, a way to honor your own mother. And then draw your hands together in front of your heart. We'll seal in our intentions and begin our class with 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. And then gently bow your head to your heart. Slowly open your eyes, release your hands. So just change the cross of your legs. And bring your hands back together in front of your heart. We're going to move through circle of joy here. So with your hands at heart center, you're going to inhale, and as you do, you'll interlace your fingers and lift your elbow tips. As you exhale, press your palms away around your back. Inhale, stretch your arms straight up to the sky. You can look up. Exhale, float your arms down back behind you. Interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, stretch your arms away, lift your heart in your chest, take your gaze up. Exhale, hands back to heart center. We'll do that again. Inhale, interlace the fingers, lift the elbow tips. Exhale, press the palms away around your back. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, float the arms down, interlace them behind your back. Inhale, stretch the arms back behind you, lift your chest, take your gaze up. Exhale, hands back to heart center. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good, let's make our way to all fours. You can move your props off the mat. Come to tabletop with your fingers spread evenly wide, your wrists under your shoulders, your knees just under your hips or slightly behind. Tuck your toes. Take an inhale and arch your back. Take your gaze up. Exhale, round through your back. Just moving through cat-cow. Chin to your chest. Flow with your breath. And notice the present state of your body. Where are the areas of tension and tightness? Where are the areas of maybe hypermobility, too much flexibility? And see what you could do to create a little more balance. Maybe one side body feels shorter than the other. Could you make some subtle changes so that this particular present body can find more stability, equilibrium, better alignment? Let's inhale, come back to center, and then make your way into downward facing dog. So toes tucked, send your hips up and back as you move your legs towards straight. You could keep a little bend in your knees if your hamstrings are tight. Take your hips back in space a little more, press your chest back. Maybe pedal out through the legs, bending one knee and sending the opposite heel towards the earth. Few more breaths here. Inhale, come forward to a high plank, a high push-up pose. And then bring your knees down. Lift your feet up. Flex your feet. Shift your weight slightly forward, so you're moving your shoulders kind of over your wrists. And then draw your low belly in, keep the tailbone lengthening, slowly bend your elbows straight back and lower your chest all the way down to the ground. Resist the heads of your arm bones away from the earth, keep them lifting, good. Then pick up your right knee, lengthen it back, bring it down to the mat, and then do the same with your left. Once you do that and lengthen the fronts of your hips, you can extend both legs long, point your toes, press the tops of the feet down into the ground. Take your heart forward and up, coming into a little baby cobra. and exhale back into downward facing dog. So the thing about being a perfectionist is that it's unattainable, and it's an expectation that we have of ourselves or of others that's just unrealistic. Notice what your expectations are of your body, of yourself, when you come to your mat, and whether or not it's reasonable. A reasonable expectation could be to come into the best shape that you can in the moment, to stay as present as you can, bring your mind back to this moment, and focus on your breath. Then inhale, walk your hands back to your feet until you come into a standing forward fold. Keep your knees slightly bent as you bow forward. And then very slowly, with knees bent, you're gonna round up through the spine, stacking one vertebrae on top of the next until you come all the way up to stand. Do a couple of shoulder rolls here. Take the shoulders up, back, and down. And then go the other way. Take them forward and then back. Good. From here, take a look at your feet. See that they're parallel, sitting over hip distance apart. Maybe widen your heels just slightly. Good. Firm up your legs. So the shins and ankles are hugging in, kneecaps are lifting, tailbone is lengthening. Bring your arms down by your sides. On an inhale, take your right arm up in line with your ear. Keep your left hand down. Take your shoulders back. Good. Inhale, stretch up through your fingertips, and exhale, reach out over to the left. Send your hips over to the right. That's it. Breathe. You could take your gaze down towards the ground, straight out in front of you or up under your arm, checking in with what feels like a good stretch on your neck. Inhale back up through center and exhale, release, and second side. Inhale, sweep your left arm up. Reach up through your fingertips, shoulders back. Exhale, reach out over to the right. Send your hips over to the left. Breathe. Check in with your gaze, where you'd like your point of focus to be. And then back up to center, exhale, release, shift that out a little. Come to stand at the top of your mat. Hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. You can slide your hands up the sides of your shins. And then bring one hand to your low back. And then feel your low back here. And straighten your legs if you haven't already. And then bend your knees. Send your sitting bones back behind you. Widen them out and see what happens in your low back. You feel that? Less of a curve in the low back, maybe. So that's what you want. You want to keep the low back neutral. And sometimes if the hamstrings are tight, we need to keep the knees bent in order to find that. You can release your hand, bring it back down to the ground, and we're just going to come into a flow here, where we inhale, lengthen to a flat back, exhale, bow forward and fold. And do that a few more times. So the focus here is on the spine. It's on creating a neutral spine, allowing the spine to get long, shoulder blades on the back, rather than having legs straight. Like, what does the perfect pose look like? What's the best pose for your body today? And the next time you bow forward, place your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale. As you exhale, lunge your right foot up in between your hands. This may take a few moves, a couple of steps to get there, but you want to get the foot all the way up so that the knee is over the ankle. Good. Press your left thigh up to the sky. Press out through your back heel. Keep your left hand down, inhale, sweep your right arm. Breathe. Exhale, release. Now bring your left knee down. This is where you may want to pad your knee with a blanket or double up your mat. It's like you suffer enough in life, you don't have to suffer in yoga. You use the prop. And then from here, once you're ready and stable, you'll inhale, reach your arms up. And breathe. Notice what you find in your body today. Maybe it's that balance is a challenge. Maybe it's that your hip flexors and thighs are really tight. Maybe it's that your jaw is clenching. So see what you could do to bring a little more ease and grace to this pose and let it be an act of self-care instead of a funny shape that makes us suffer. A few more breaths. Exhale, release. Gently move back into downward facing dog, and up to you. You could stay right here in dog. You could take a breather in child's pose, or you could move through a vinyasa. If you're moving through a vinyasa, you'll inhale, come forward to high plank. Knees can stay up or down. Exhale to lower all the way to your belly. Inhale, finding cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts as you inhale. Lunge it forward as you exhale. Take your time, see that your knee stacks right over your ankle. Press your right thigh up to the sky, straighten out your back leg. Press out through your heel. Good, yeah. At the same time, hug the legs in towards each other. So you're getting really strong and stable through the lower body. Keep your right hand down, inhale, sweep your left hand. Maybe from here, you can curl the shoulders back, lean back, open up the heart. Exhale, release. Now bring your right knee down. So maybe you pat it. From here, you'll want to give yourself a minute to get stable through your legs. And then when you're ready, inhale, reach your arms up. Palms face in towards each other. Reach up as much through your thumbs as your pinkies. Draw your low belly in, hug your legs in towards each other, and then you can let your pelvis sink down and forward. Heart lifts. And check in to see where you could find a little more ease. Giving ourselves some grace, right, to being perfect. But if it feels challenging, that's okay. If it feels hard to do, that's okay. It's not supposed to be easy. Couple more breaths. Then exhale, release. Make your way back into downward facing dog. Same options here for child's pose, down dog, or vinyasa. This time we'll all meet in child's pose. So whichever option you choose, you'll find your way to child's pose going through. So knees wide, big toes together, hips back towards your heels. Bring your forehead to the ground. You could stack your fists and bring your forehead down onto that if your head doesn't come to the ground on its own. And then give yourself permission to rest here for a few breaths. To relax and soften into the posture. If that's not possible to do in your body in this pose, then you can lay on your back and hug your knees into your chest. Another 30 seconds here. And then when you're ready, you'll make your way back into down dog. Step or jump your feet forward to meet your hands. Bow forward as you fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands to your heart. Take a wide stance on your mat with your feet parallel. We can all face this way. So feet parallel. Extend your arms straight out in line with your shoulders. Try to line up your ankles underneath your wrists, although that doesn't have to happen today. Then take your heels a little bit wider. Bring your hands back to your hips. Turn your left toes to face forward. Find heel to arch alignment, so your front heel dissects the arch of your back foot, and then bend your left knee. Keep the center of your head right over your tailbone. Then extend your arms in line with your shoulders. Once again, flip your palms, draw your shoulder blades onto your back and keep them there. Palms face down, gaze out over your left middle finger. Press into your feet, straighten your left leg. This is where you may want to have a block. So if you need to grab one, you get one now and put it on the outside of your left shin. Then lean your left fingertips forward. Exhale, bring your hand down to your block, to your shin, or maybe to the ground, right arm up in Trikonasana, triangle pose. Couple of breaths. The little bend into your left knee from your right wrist. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to your hips, turn your left toes in, your right toes out. Move your block if you use one on the first side. So take a minute to set yourself up here for warrior two. You'll bend your right knee, extend your arms out in line with your shoulders. Center of the head right over the tailbone. If your knee is moving past your ankle, give yourself more space. Take your back foot back. Breathe. Flip your palms, shoulder blades on the back of the heart. Keep that, palms turned down, gaze out over your right middle finger. Press down into your right foot, straighten your right leg. Take a breath in. As you exhale, reach your right fingertips past your toes, and then come into Trikonasana. Symphony of popping hips. Check in with your breath. See if you could soften your tongue in your mouth. A little bend into your right knee from your left wrist. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in. And from here, we're going to turn both feet out. Then bend both knees, coming into goddess. So from here, you can take your hands to your thighs. And maybe just shift back and forth a little bit. Side to side. Just getting some balance through your body here. Maybe it feels good to take one shoulder in, other. Then you'll come back to center and take your arms up to cactus. You're still in goddess. See if you could sink a little deeper. Shoulder blades on the back of the heart. Take the tips of the elbows forward and see if that makes that easier. Good. Now press into your feet and inhale. Come all the way up. Stretch your arms up, coming into star. A little welcome relief. And then we're going to exhale back into goddess. Inhale up. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star. You can add in a lion's breath here as we move through this flow, moving with your breath. So that would look like on the exhale, sticking your tongue way out. Breathing out like a lion. Let's do two more wherever you're at. All the way back up, stretch through your fingertips. Exhale, release your hands to your hips, turn your feet back to parallel and step your feet in towards each other. Good, come stand at the top of your mat once again. And once you arrive here, stand in Tadasana, mountain pose, and close your eyes. And take a moment to check in with this version of yourself and to notice what's changed, what's shifted since you first walked into the studio or onto your mat if you're at home. And then notice what has stayed the same. So there's that light within us that we talk about in yoga, that spark of the divine in each one of us, that's unchanging and ever present. That part of us that's the same divine light from the moment we were born from our mothers till we take our last breath. That no matter what is shifting and changing within our bodies as we age, stays the same. And so take a moment here to come home to that part of you. And when you're ready, open your eyes, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, offer your heart forward as you bow and touch your toes. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. Exhale, step back into downward facing dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale, lunge it forward as you exhale. This time, you're going to toe heel your right foot over to the right side of your mat and bring your hands inside your right foot. So we're going to come into lizard lunge here, and this can look a bunch of different ways. Maybe it's staying right like this up on the fingertips. Maybe it's using a couple of blocks, bringing your back knee down, forearms to the blocks. Maybe it's forearms all the way to the ground. You can pad that back knee, or if it's better for your body, don't keep it lifted. Choice is yours. If your knee tracks out to the right, you'll just turn your toes in line with the knee. And then all of us, wherever you are, will work towards softening the heart, melting that space right in between your shoulder blades. Keep extending through the crown of your head, and then see where you could soften, where you could breathe. If you find that this pose doesn't work for your body today, you could always lay on your back and come into a half of a happy baby with your other leg extended. So it would be the same shape, you would just flip over onto your back. See if here, if there's anything that you could let go of. Maybe it's your expectation of the pose or of the way your body performs in it. Maybe it's something bigger in your life, like letting go of the need to be a perfect mom, a perfect student, a perfect friend. We can be so hard on ourselves, and simply offering ourselves grace and the freedom and space to be imperfect can be a powerful act of self-care. Just a few more breaths. And then you'll very slowly make your way out of this pose. Find your way back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here in down dog or move through vinyasa, your choice. Notice how the experience of down dog has changed from your first down dog today. And then we'll get ready to transition to the second side. So left leg lifts as you inhale. Step it forward as you exhale. Toe heel your foot over to the left side of your mat. Bring your hands to the inside of your left foot. Right knee can come down. And see where your fullest expression of this pose lies on the second side. Once you've found a shape that you could stay in for a length of time, see where you could soften. You could relax your jaw, your tongue. Maybe you find on this side, you take the variation on your back with your left leg and half happy baby. Just a couple more breaths. And then you'll slowly make your way back into downward facing dog. You can move through a final vinyasa here. Or stay in down dog. And you'll bring your knees down. Come to sit. Sit on your mat with your knees bent, feet on the ground. Lean back on your hands. Your fingertips can point in towards your seat. Lengthen your spine, sit up nice and tall. Take your feet as wide as your mat and windshield wiper your legs side to side. Try not to travel too much on your mat. Sometimes you can go across the room. Just a few more. And then come back up to center. Make your way down onto your back. Extend your legs long. And inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Inhale, extend back out, lengthen up the right leg, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hug your left knee into your chest. So just finding a flow here. Inhale, arms reach, send both legs, exhale, right knee in. You can move as slow as you need to stay with your breath. Seeing if you could let this be a moving meditation. One more each side. And then once again, hug your right knee into your chest. This time, stay there. Take your right knee in your left hand, right arm out to the side in cactus or straight out in line with your shoulder. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, guide your knee across your body to come into a twist. You can roll onto the outer left hip. Let the pinky toe edge of your left foot come down to the ground and gaze out over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Extend your right leg to meet your left. Hug your left knee into your chest. Take your left knee in your right hand, left arm out to the side. Take a breath in. As you exhale, twist. Guide your knee across your body over to the right. You can roll onto your outer right hip and let the pinky toe edge of your right foot come down to the mat. Gaze out over your left shoulder. And if your left shoulder pops up, sorry, I forgot to tell you this on the first side. You could just take your left hand and rest it on your left rib cage. Couple more breaths here. Inhale, come back to center. Extend your left leg to meet your right. Then bend both knees, place your feet on the ground. Take the soles of your feet together, your knees wide. You can have your arms down by your sides with your palms face up, or one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. In Supta Baddha Konasana.
Notice if there's any area of your body that's still holding on to tension. Could you soften it? Relax a little more. To let this pose be an act of self-care and self-love. Maybe that means softening the mind. Letting any thoughts that arise float by like clouds or drop like stones to the bottom of a clear lake. A few more breaths here. Inhale your knees back up to center. Use your hands to help on the backs of your thighs. Draw your knees into your chest. You're going to roll to your right side, come up to sit. When you come to sit, take your legs wide on your mat. So you can either turn to the side or just stagger a little, up to you. You can sit up on the edge of a blanket. And maybe here you want some blocks. You could take blocks out in front of you and rest your forearms here. You could stay upright on your fingertips behind you. The goal is to get your pelvis upright and tilted forward. So tailbone moving back behind you. Then lengthen your spine, get nice and tall, and exhale as you fold. Every inhale, see if you could lengthen the spine, melt the heart. Maybe every exhale, you sink in a little deeper physically, or just dropping back and down into yourself. Inhale, walk your hands in and then take them over to frame your right leg. Bow over your right leg. Walk back through center and then take your legs over to the left to frame your left leg. Bow over your left leg. Inhale, come back to center. Take your right hand on top of your right shin, turn your palm to face up. And then from here, you're going to slide your hand down towards your foot. Inhale your left arm up and overhead. And reach out towards your right foot. Inhale, back up through center. Bring your left hand on top of your left shin. Slide your hand down towards your foot. Inhale, right arm up and over in line with your ear. Inhale back up to center. One more time, bow forward and fold. Inhale, walk your hands in, take your hands to the backs of your thighs. Use your arms, the strength of your arms to get your legs back up. And then lay down onto your back, setting up for Shavasana. You can use whatever props you like to make yourself as comfortable as possible. Let your feet gently open to the sides. Have your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. Take a breath in and let it out with a sigh. And give yourself permission to fully surrender and relax into Shavasana. Slowly and gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to draw awareness back into the body by wiggling your fingers, your toes. When you're ready, you can reach your arms overhead and take a full body stretch. Hug your knees into your chest. And slowly roll to your right side. In your own time, begin to make your way back up to find a comfortable seat. Once you arrive, close your eyes and bring your hands together in front of your heart. And take a moment to honor yourself for your practice today, for this act of self-care and honoring where you are at this moment in this body. Take a moment to honor all of the ways in which you embody being a mother, and all of the ways in which your own mother has cared for you, even if it's just that initial gift of life. You can honor the mother of us all, Mother Earth. And then call back your intention that you set at the beginning of class. Let's end our class and seal in our intentions with a final cleansing breath. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And gently bow your head to your heart, honoring that divine light within you that's always present and we can always come home to. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in each one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for your practice today. It was so lovely to be here with all of you. So next week, I think this class is just going to be virtual because it's Pride, and the Pride Parade will be going through, and I think they start to gather at like 10:30. So getting here and parking and all of that will be a challenge. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to teach from my house, and you can tune in virtually if you'd like. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Oh, and there is a flash sale on class packages starting tomorrow. That's good for 20% off all class packages. You don't need a code, it'll just be discounted. It doesn't apply to the new student special, but it applies to everything else, and you can stock up because they don't expire for a year. Okay. Hi, thank you.